Good day and welcome back to Channel AI News. This is your anchor Reginald Reed, here to bring you the latest developments and insights from the current events of the world. Stay tuned, stay informed. Now let's get started with today's top stories on Channel AI News. A Camarillo woman, Alia Phillips, narrowly escaped her burning home during the mountain fire, thanks to firefighters who helped her drive through flames in her Prius Prime. Her husband, Sal, was waiting for her at safety, and despite losing their home, they're grateful to have each other. The Phillips family will likely face a long road to rebuilding their lives, but with the support of friends and organizations like the California Fire Foundation, they may be able to find some hope in the ashes. A man reported his electric bicycle stolen from his property in the mountain fire evacuation zone. The landscapers working nearby were confronted, and one of them admitted to taking it, returning it to the owner. Deputies later arrested 37-year-old Ramon Avila Pacheco on suspicion of looting. The arrest marks a rare instance of looting in the mountain fire evacuation zone, where residents are already dealing with significant damage and disruption. Kate Middleton made her first major formal appearance since completing preventative chemotherapy treatment for cancer. She attended the British Royal League's Festival of Remembrance event alongside Prince William and King Charles III, who is currently receiving cancer treatment. Expect Kate Middleton to continue with a handful of public engagements in the coming months as she continues her recovery from cancer treatment. The Miami Dolphins have the most players from historically black colleges and universities, HBCUS, on their roster, with 5 players from HBCUS, including Terron Armstead, Quentin Bell, and Keon Smith. This legacy is a testament to the rich history of HBCU talent in the NFL, with notable alumni such as Walter Payton, Jerry Rice, and Michael Strahan. As more eyes are on HBCUs, it's expected that there will be an increase in HBCU talent throughout the league, with more exposure and development opportunities for these players. The author's daughter took a gap year and traveled solo through Europe for 3 months. The mother worried daily but learned to let go and trust her daughter, discovering that the world is not as dangerous as she had imagined. The experience taught the mother to relax, let go of things she cannot control, and see the world in a more positive light, ultimately leading to a more confident and independent child. A pet kangaroo that escaped its enclosure in Pearson, Florida on October 17 has been found and returned home after being spotted in a fenced area. The owner was cited for having an expired license, improper caging, and failing to notify authorities within 12 hours of the escape. Residents can expect increased monitoring and enforcement of exotic animal enclosures in Florida following this incident. Bomb threats forced evacuation of ballot processing centers in Orange and Riverside counties in California on Tuesday and Friday, respectively. The threats were deemed non-credible after brief evacuations with no explosives found. The incidents occurred amidst a wave of bomb threats across the U.S., with many attributed to Russia. The integrity of the election process remains a concern as authorities investigate the source of the bomb threats and work to ensure public safety. The No. 7-seeded Monterey Trail Mustangs defeated the No. 10 Lincoln Trojans 53-34 in a CFS Joaquin Section Division I playoff opener, with senior running back Dodrian Sanders carrying the ball 28 times for 243 yards and scoring 5 touchdowns. The Mustangs will face a tougher test against No. 2 Oak Ridge in the quarterfinals, but their strong team chemistry and preparation should serve them well as they look to advance in the playoffs. President-elect Trump has suggested paying off the Democratic Party's debt, reportedly $20 million, as a gesture towards unity after his election victory. The proposal was met with skepticism and questions about how the Harris-Walz campaign could spend $1 billion, yet suffer defeat. The move is likely seen as an attempt to troll Democrats rather than genuinely promote unity, given Trump's history of using social media to mock opponents. The House Oversight Committee launched an investigation into FEMA after a terminated employee instructed hurricane relief workers in Florida to avoid homes displaying Trump campaign signs. The committee's chair, Rep. James Comer, requested FEMA Director Deanne Criswell to testify at a hearing. This incident raises concerns about partisan bias within the federal bureaucracy and may lead to changes in leadership or policies within FEMA. The Montana State Bobcats dominated the Sacramento State Hornets 49-7, rushing for a program record 508 yards and 7 touchdowns in Big Sky Conference play. The win keeps Montana State unbeaten at 6-0, while Sacramento State struggles with injuries, suiting up only 3 starters from their previous meeting. Expect Montana State to continue its strong season, potentially making a push for the FCS National Championship as they face UC Davis next week in the FCS Game of the Week. A 90-year-old woman named Helen Roper Dickerson has gone missing in Los Angeles since November 9th. She suffers from medical disabilities, including a recent stroke, and is considered at risk due to her age and medication requirements. The public is being asked for help in locating Helen Roper Dickerson, with officials encouraging anyone with information to contact the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department or Crime Stoppers anonymously. Christina Hall is filming her new HDTV series The Flip Off with her ex-husband Ant Anstead, following the departure of her estranged husband, Josh Hall. The show also stars Christina's first ex-husband, Tarek El Moussa, and his wife, Heather. Expect to see a more amicable relationship between Christina Hall and Ant Anstead on The Flip Off, as they have reportedly developed a good rapport with each other, despite their past custody battle over their son Hudson. President-elect Donald Trump announced on social media that he will not invite former U.S. Ambassador Nikki Haley and former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo to join his new administration, despite previously considering them for key roles. This move suggests a shift in Trump's priorities or relationships with these individuals, potentially impacting the composition of his cabinet and future policy decisions. Democratic Congresswoman Marie Gluesenkamp-Perez has been projected to win re-election in Washington state's 3rd congressional district, defeating Republican challenger Joe Kent for the second time. Gluesenkamp-Perez was considered one of the most vulnerable Democrats in the House after winning her 2022 race by less than 2 points. Gluesenkamp-Perez's victory maintains Democratic control in a crucial swing district that could determine the party's hold on the House, with implications for future legislative priorities and policy initiatives. A house in Pasadena caught fire on Saturday, displacing several people and killing a dog. The main house was completely destroyed, but no one was injured. The cause of the fire is still unknown, and authorities are likely to investigate further. The race for a Democratic majority in the U.S. House of Representatives is narrowing, with Republicans holding 212 seats and Democrats holding 200. A party needs 218 seats for a majority. Key races in California, Arizona, Oregon, and other western states are yet to be called, with some Republican candidates leading by small margins. The outcome of the House majority is still uncertain, but Republicans appear to be inching closer to retaining power, potentially setting up a shutdown standoff in Congress's final weeks before President Trump's return to the White House. Federal investigators are looking into offensive and racist text messages sent to cell phone numbers across the country, using slavery imagery and targeting mostly Black recipients. The texts appear to be a coordinated effort, with some containing personal names and threatening physical violence. The investigation is ongoing, but authorities have condemned the messages as unacceptable and are urging victims to report threats of physical violence to local law enforcement. A 4-car crash in Panorama City left 2 people with critical injuries after a Mercedes and Rolls-Royce collided with other vehicles while traveling at high speeds. The driver of the Rolls-Royce fled the scene and is still being sought by authorities. Expect increased police presence and potential traffic disruptions in the area as authorities continue to investigate the crash and search for the driver of the Rolls-Royce. Rudy Giuliani has claimed he can't afford food after being ordered to pay a $148 million judgment for defaming Georgia poll workers. He launched a fundraising campaign on Give a Cent Go, raising nearly $100,000 in under 24 hours. Giuliani's financial struggles are likely to continue as he faces pressure to hand over luxury items, including 4 Yankees World Series rings worth an estimated $200,000 to satisfy the judgment. Kara Swisher predicts a power struggle between tech billionaire Elon Musk and President-elect Donald Trump, with only one man emerging victorious. She believes their differing personalities and need for attention will lead to a clash. A potential showdown between Musk and Trump could be brewing, driven by their competing desires for power and attention. A residential cruise line, Villa Vivace Residences, is offering 4-year voyages to 140 countries across 7 continents. Prices start at $255,999 for a single occupancy room, and include meals, spa facilities, and fitness programs. As the U.S. election results spark interest in temporary relocation, this cruise line offers an alternative to traditional migration options, providing flexibility and a unique travel experience. California's California Air Resources Board approved new regulations to limit carbon intensity in fuels, which could curb the state's drop in gas prices. The plan aims to increase penalties for refineries producing high-carbon fuel, potentially raising gas prices by 47 cents per gallon. The new regulations may stabilize or even raise California's gas prices, but officials expect a more moderate impact than initially estimated. The president of the National Border Patrol Council, NBPC, predicts significant changes to U.S. immigration policy under President-elect Trump. The NBPC president cites Trump's past policies and his team's experience as reasons for optimism. He also notes that there may be an influx of migrants before Trump takes office, but expects a more secure border once he is sworn in. EU expects substantial changes to U.S. immigration policy under President-elect Trump, including a potential mass deportation of immigrants who entered the country illegally. A federal judge has ruled that Mark Zuckerberg is not personally liable in over 24 lawsuits, accusing Meta of causing social media addiction in children. The plaintiffs claim that Meta knew about the health risks associated with its platforms, but the judge found insufficient evidence to hold Zuckerberg directly responsible. The ruling does not necessarily mean that Meta will escape liability altogether, as the lawsuit against the company itself continues. Expect further developments and potential consequences for social media companies in the coming months. A 103-year-old assisted living resident in Michigan was injured when a deer broke through her bedroom window while she was in bed. Officers responded and used a baton to break the patio door, allowing the deer to escape. Residents of the Arbor North Living Facility can expect increased security measures to prevent future wildlife incidents. President-elect Donald Trump has announced that his inaugural committee will be led by former U.S. Sen. Kelly Loeffler of Georgia, alongside Steve Witkoff, a New York real estate investor. The committee will plan events to celebrate Trump's inauguration and the America First agenda. The appointment of Loeffler to lead Trump's inaugural committee suggests that Trump is seeking to surround himself with loyal allies as he prepares for his presidency. Director Ridley Scott shared a behind-the-scenes moment from the film Gladiator, revealing that Joaquin Phoenix nearly refused to play his villainous role. Commodus. Scott also mentioned that Russell Crowe almost quit the movie due to script issues, calling it absolute rubbish. The Gladiator sequel is underway with Paul Mescal playing Lucius, and director Ridley Scott believes that Barry Keoghan's recent exit from the film was a result of being locked into another project, comparing him to Joaquin Phoenix in terms of complexity. A 25-year-old man from San Bernardino County has been arrested for allegedly murdering his 32-year-old brother in Bloomington early Friday morning. The suspect is being held without bail, and authorities are asking anyone with information to come forward. President-elect Donald Trump missed an October 1 deadline to submit a mandatory ethics pledge, potentially causing chaos during the handoff between the Biden administration and the second Trump term's team. This has resulted in Trump being locked out of meetings and briefings with the current administration. A messy transition is expected next year due to Trump's slow walking of his documents, which could lead to a period of chaos on day one of his presidency. The outcome of the U.S. Senate contest in Arizona remains unclear due to an estimated 588,223 uncounted ballots. The process of counting these ballots is taking longer than usual, with officials citing signature verification and curing as reasons for the delay. It's expected that the winner of the U.S. Senate contest will be announced soon, potentially replacing Sen. Kyrsten Sinema, but the exact timeline remains uncertain.